Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Don't see what's yours for the taking tonight. Ooh, show me your soul, baby. I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Can't you see it's way past time? How expensive do I have to be? And then I spell it out before you get it, baby. Show me your soul, and honey, I'll show you. I'll show you.
Biscuits, gravy. I'm so excited. I tell you, I love me some soul. Soul music, soul food, but more importantly, soul conversation. I'm not kidding you. That's all my own theme song got to me today. It got to me today. That's because I'm excited and I just can't hide it. I'm serious. I just am so grateful. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for us. I'm grateful for that promise that tells us when we come together purposefully with the same mindset, the same spirit of service and just helping each other get to that E and that R that takes bright to brighter, strong to stronger, bold to bolder, and nice to nicer. Today I am just, my cup is overflowing. I mean that. I truly mean that. There's the bell of purpose. And why is it here? Because just like you hear the ring of that bell, the truth has a ring to it, y'all. And when I ring that bell, I know we're busy. We're multitasking, making oatmeal, driving, flat ironing our hair. Well, you know, not me, but you maybe. But when the bell rings, it's to let you know, tune in, lean in, and pick up something that I'm sure will change your life and help you to change the lives of others. So can I get an amen? All right. Good morning to all you beautiful people. Look at y'all. Looking so good today. I want you to help me as always at this point in the show. Welcome my sidekick. You know, she's my version of Ed McMahon, Miss Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. We've been together at this desk for 6 years, and I wouldn't want to do anything to piss her off. For real. I say, listen, you guys, So much going on in the news. I catch little snippets of it. Boy, Miss Britney Spears. She's coming on out, telling it all, dropping it like it's hot. Finally, right? You know, I wasn't ever really into her. Now, my husband better not say anything against Britney. He'll be ready to, you know. So, well, really Madonna, but Britney too. She's like the daughter of Madonna to him. But you know what she went through for all those years. Just so sad, but so happy for her now. So happy. It is, like I said, going to rain today and tomorrow here in Chicago, but in the mid 80s all weekend, sunshine. And I'm happy. I'm hoping to get out and play some tennis. I wanted to say good morning to all of our great friends over at Heart of Hollywood Magazine and Motion Pictures. And a thank you to Giovanna Salas and her team for blessing us, Bathrobe Moments, which includes you. We couldn't have done it without each other. We are on the back cover of this magazine every month for the next 2 years. And that was a blessing that just came on purpose. And we're going to use it with purpose. Can I get an amen? There we go. Hey, today is a great day in the neighborhood. Why? Because I have a guest today who's never been here. It's been kind of the theme this week, first timers, right? So on your P's and Q's. But the reason I wanted her here, she doesn't even know this, is, you know, we get coaches and all kinds of different people that do the same thing that we do as influencers. But what I found different about Shawn Jones is that she has a true spirit of community. She really does. And she puts it out there. And I was like, well, look at her. I see you, girl. Right. And that was something a couple years ago I realized I wasn't that good at. I may have had lots of you all over the world who supported my work and poured into me and let me pour into you when the time was right. But then I noticed, I was like, man, what am I doing right here on my own cul-de-sac? What am I doing right here in my own community? And I went and I became a part of my local Rotary. And, you know, I thought it was because we get that nice lunch once a week and, you know, you get to dress up, and then COVID came, you didn't get any of that. And then, but we were still doing things in the community where they call and say, Lauren, we need you to go and help with loaves and fishes. They're going to be packing up boxes for the needy or the elderly today, and we could use your help. And those times really poured into me. Better than it, more so than any of the lunches or any of those things. Not to take anything away from the Rotary, but it was those moments of truly being of service, getting out there and, you know, rolling our sleeves up in the community. So I wanted to get Shawn in here today to talk about why that is so important. She's just everywhere. But before we get her in here, let me share a little something I found. Now you're going to have to really lean in. This guy was almost whispering. But I don't know who he is. I really don't. But the truth had a ring to it. It still does, always will. And I wanted to share what he had to say about why community involvement is so important. So let's start. It's just a couple minutes long, and then we'll get our guest in and get started. Now really listen, because I'm
They say that crime is between the police, the legal system, and it's not. We all have a part to play in this.
Huh?
I think McGandy once said
what's that?
saying
Okay.
that if you want the world to change, become the change you want to see in the world. I think so many people criticise what other people do and yet exhibit the same behaviour. Does it all start with the individual? It certainly does. If we want change, it starts with us. Once we get a group of people that are like-minded, you then have community involvement. But it's not until you get a total commitment from the community are you going to see change. And people are so apathetic unless something happens to them, they don't want to do anything. And I think we need to start looking at ways of becoming proactive with many of society's issues. And I'm not just talking about crime and justice here. I'm talking about a lot of the social issues. White Ribbon has played an important part because it raises awareness. But we need to raise awareness at so many levels about so many issues and then engage people in doing something about it, not just talking about it.
I heard that.
So many people do. You go to a hotel, a club, a restaurant, any gathering, everyone's got the answer, but nobody gets off their ass and does anything.
Okay.
Community involvement is the key to change.
Amen and amen. I want to meet him. Seriously, he was hard to hear, but when you start listening, I like that. That's a nice approach. When you whisper at people, what? So there it is. He said a mouthful, and so will our guest. Now, let me tell you about her. Shawn Jones is the CEO of iNETrepreneur. I had to practice that for 20 minutes this morning. The network for founders, executives, and that's right, you guessed it, entrepreneurs. She's an international best-selling author, a certified keynote speaker, and she speaks to the business community and also to area schools. She is also a certified relationship connection expert. You leaned in then. You saw that smile on your face. Shawn has also served on the board of directors for her chambers of commerce, chairman for Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and as a town liaison. I want to hear about that. What does that person do? Also, as an entrepreneur, she founded and led several successful service-based companies in multiple states and has been involved with fundraising for nonprofits who support youth, education, veterans, and seniors. All my favorites. Every last one of them. Shawn's a former foster parent. Just fell in love all over again. As her passion was and still is advocating for children's rights and services, and she serves on the advisory committee for Helen's Hope Chest. Shawn is married to Robert, the founder and chairman of the iNETrepreneur Network. You got to run into that one. And together they have 4 beautiful children, 2 wonderful dogs, and 1 wonderful cat. When Shawn is not working with entrepreneurs, guess what she does? Yep, she volunteers her time, she works in the garden, hikes, and enjoys creative projects. Now, she has a really great life motto. Get ready, here it comes. No is not a roadblock. It is a pathway to a different route. The truth requires a few words, and she proved it right there. Put your hearts into the conversation and do me one more. Put some hearts on the screen, because guess what? Here she comes, our guest for today, Shawn Jones. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, Lauren. So happy to see you this morning.
Same here. How are you? I'm going to dress the screen up for you. There it is.
I am doing good. It is beautiful here in Arizona. You were talking about the wet weather coming to your side of the woods. And in Arizona, I think we've seen more rain in the last 2 days than we've seen in the last 2 years.
Really?
Yes.
Was there flooding?
We haven't had the floods because it's been steady, and then it gives pockets of where it just stops raining. So we've been very lucky, but all of our waterways are starting to fill back up. Our lakes are drinking it up. So it's definitely much needed.
The Salt River.
Yes.
See,
oh, it's
I bet
beautiful
you're shocked
here.
I know about. I used to live there.
Oh, did you?
I did for
Wonderful.
11 years. I was in Phoenix. I was stationed there in the Air Force, and then when I separated, I stayed for about 6 more years. And one time, monsoon season, my Toyota Tercel, floated away. Completely floated away. Yeah, they found it like 4 miles away. I was at someone's house downtown, their apartment. It came out the next day, and the car was just gone. So that's why I asked about the flooding. So what part of Arizona are you specifically in?
Mesa, just outside of Phoenix.
I'm from Mesa Country Club. That's where those white apartments, you can see them from the freeway. I wonder if they're still there. You know what I'm telling you?
They are
get off
still
there. Go to the
there.
mall right behind there. Told you I knew it. Yes. Wow, I bet it's huge now. That place has grown so much.
Oh, we used to live in Queen Creek, Arizona. I always joke about the cornfields and all the cows because it's a farming community. Well, that cute little farming community that was way out in Timbuktu, well, it's not little anymore. You have K Jewelers, you have all the big box stores, and all the farmland is going away. And it's actually one of the hottest areas to move into right now.
You know, that's what I hear about Apache Junction. That's where Williams Air Force Base was. And it was nothing. I mean, pitch black. You better have good lights on your car if you come home after midnight out there. But now they tell me that looks like back when I left, Chandler was just starting to grow. That was a big place. Everybody was moving to Chandler. And so now it has grown, and you've grown with it. So tell us, have you always lived there? Where did little Shawn get her start?
Oh, well, little Shawn grew up in a big city. You might know about it. It's called Las Vegas, Nevada.
That's why I moved after Phoenix. Girl, okay. Las Vegas. You grew up, and what's that like?
Oh, it was so different. So back in the day, Las Vegas was a real close-knit city. Matter of fact, my father's godfather was the founder of the first phone company. He was part of the phone company and the infrastructure.
Wow.
My grandfather and my aunt, my dad have all retired from the phone company. And way back when it was openly mob ran in Vegas, my grandfather used to had really tight connections with like Bugsy Siegel and all of the good old boys back then. And so my grandfather, we have pictures in the family sitting at one of the casinos and one of the shows, and everyone sitting together, and it was just like a big close-knit family of friends. But like anything, times change, and the city is spread out so much, and a lot of the old timers, everybody's died off. So then you have your great grandkids, and we're in a different generation.
There's stories. I was an event planner when I lived there, and I did a thing for ASU, and this woman named not ASU. What is it? UNLV. Oh, right. UNLV. And the woman, Corinne Sidney was her name. And her husband was the director of one of the directors on Gone with the Wind and stuff. And she was donating all of his memorabilia from all these movies he had directed to the school. And so she did this thing at her house. And she lived next door to the McGuire sisters. And they came over, and I spent so much time talking to them because Corinne was in that thing with the Brat Pack, and she was the she was the Playboy bunny of the decade and beat Marilyn Monroe. And trust me, she wouldn't let you forget it. She had a full live cutout right in her living room, a full size of when she was on the cover. It was so funny. And she was a diva for real. I'll tell you about that later. But anyway, so you grew up in Las Vegas. So bright lights, big city, big dreams. And then, so tell us, did you stay there? Where'd you go to college? What was your plan early on for Shawn? What did you think you would end up doing in life?
So I had always envisioned being a child psychologist. But while I did attend college, I found that since I had started my entrepreneurship at the age of 8 years old, and had worked in the family business growing up through high school, I took a choice. I made a choice between continuing my education in college or continuing being an entrepreneur. And for me, my life path took me from dropping out of college to focusing on starting companies, and which was my passion for many years, taking companies, starting them from the ground up, having companies that had multiple divisions, and I would either sell the complete companies or I would sell the individual divisions one by one.
Wow.
And it was enjoyable. It was like, for me, I love jumping off of mountains and doing rappelling, a little bit younger days. Now that I'm a little older, I don't jump off the mountainsides anymore, but right. To me, starting a company and watching it grow and doing everything and trying new things, that was an adrenaline rush for me. And while some can say I gave up my dream of being a child psychologist, I found other ways to still be able to help children. And as you mentioned, I was a foster parent. I've helped lots of kiddos. My daughter, my youngest child, we adopted her when she came to us when she was about 3 months old.
Aww.
And at 18 months, she legally became our daughter, and she is now 9 years old.
Oh, yay, forever homes. Yay.
Yes.
I just love you. I want to go back to the piece about the entrepreneur who starts a business, builds a business, and sells the business. Like a lot of people, now I'm just keeping it real. Don't be all offended, y'all. If it don't apply to you, then don't take it personally. Remember the 4 agreements. A lot of people fancy themselves entrepreneurs, but they're really more hobbyist when it comes to their brand / business. And I use the term loosely. Talk about what you had to do to get your business or your idea, your brand, to the point where it was valuable enough to someone else to sell it to them. But then, isn't that like a child? How did you, sever yourself from it? Just talk about that whole thing. You don't hear very many people that can claim that.
Absolutely. So first, I didn't have any attachments to the companies themselves. When I would create the businesses, I knew that there was a purpose. I knew where I wanted them to be at what point, and then my ultimate goal I knew was to sell them. Because
So
for
that was
me,
your goal
I would
from
get
the
bored.
beginning.
That was my goal from the beginning.
Okay.
And I did that because I would get bored. And as funny as it would sound, to me, it was the thrill of seeing it. Can I make it go? Did I have a lot of successes? Yes. Did I have stuff that, I bombed? Yes. And that was okay, because through those losses, I gained more knowledge. And I was able to navigate along the way through those endeavors. I learned to find mentors and make connections with others that knew more than me, that had more experience, and I would start to pull. And I loved it. It was that thrill. But then after a while, it was like, okay, everything's routine now. There's no more challenges in this particular business. So on to the next one.
So you kind of have an eclectic entrepreneurial spirit, where
Yes.
it's, my friend Jason Cisneros is like that. Even though he has Anton J goes out and helps companies that are about to go south. And if he can get them to where they need to be and they want to keep it, but oftentimes they will sell it to him and he'll bring it up out of the trenches like a phoenix, and then get a bunch of those same companies and sell them to some conglomerate. And before him, I didn't even know that was a thing. And here you are doing it and have done it. So how do you choose a business that were these things that you knew about? Give us an example. What was one of the companies that you started, built, grew, sold it to somebody? And how much about it did you know when you started?
Well, my first business I could not sell because I was only 8, and I actually had a car washing route, but that obviously I couldn't do much with. But the next one was in the cleaning industry. It was both residential and commercial cleaning, and under that umbrella, we incorporated window cleaning, high ladder services, carpet cleaning, both bonnet and extraction. And it was just seeing that there was needs. And that was big. Where's there the need? Why is that need? How can I solve that need? And so my mom actually had nurtured my entrepreneurial spirit. She became a single mom when I was 13, and my dad just kind of left the picture. And so she was in real estate, and the Las Vegas market was crashing. It was just dead. And real estate, everything was drying up back then, like the 2008 boom, but this was earlier on. And she bought a cleaning company from her broker. It was not licensed. There was no bonding, no insurance. It was the traditional, we're going to get a couple of women together, because back then it was mostly women that would clean, and we're going to go clean us some houses. Right. And so my mom said, Shawn, we have 2 options. And option number 1, because your dad, we don't have that extra support, real estate dropped, we're either going to be standing in that line needing social assistance, or we're going to grab our hands together and we're going to make this go. And I'm thinking, I'm 13. Okay. It was a game. I didn't know. And we started, looking at our own experiences when we needed service providers in our home, and what we liked, what we didn't. And that's how we just started incorporating. So we started with the cleaning company going into homes. And then through that, our customers were saying, who do you know? I need a carpet company. Oh, I need some high light bulbs on that 20-foot ceiling that I can't get to.
Right.
Or, I need my windows. And so from listening to our clients actually helped us add the different divisions.
That's right. That's exactly what Jason told me. He always said to me from the beginning, because he really is my number one mentor and best friend. And he says to me, still says it, Lauren, you only have to do 3 things to ensure that you're successful in anything. And that is find out what people want, go out and get it, bring it back and give it to them. Just like that. And I was like, that sounds really easy, And so I understand exactly. And now I see it, and I hope you guys out there do too, a little clearer. So with the cleaning thing, of course, you have to get machines and inventory, and you build a customer base. That's the value that you sell to people. Here's an already established route, customers with, long standing with us. There's great relationships. And so I could see where that would be a great place to be grounded in what it is that truly helps you succeed in everything else. And I believe you'll probably agree with me that it is that deep-rooted relationship building. Talk about that, Shawn, because a lot of people think it's all about the money, Give me the money, goodbye. And when I was in MLM, and I built a pretty successful business, a couple hundred supervisors and about 5,000 downline. And the thing was, I always told people, don't go in there just to sell them the product. Get to know them, put roots down, and build that relationship that it's going in this direction, not that ladder above and below. So talk about how important relationships are, because I have a sneaking feeling that is the same yellow brick road that has helped you do so well in your community efforts.
Yes. And that's a good question, Lauren. Relationships are the foundation of everything you do in life, from your family to your partners, your spouses. It can be your community relationships, your neighbors. What are the relationships that you have with your neighbors?
Mm-hmm.
Clients are so important. And I see it all the time. Even now, I will see people come into our community and they're just focused on hitting that sell. They'll walk into a room, and if they don't walk out of there with the sell, you don't see them come back. And that's okay, because those are the one-hit wonders. Eventually, they're going to get tired of having to go back in for the fix.
Yes.
But by establishing a relationship, staying in contact, and really nurturing those relationships, then you create what I call the long haul. These are the people that are going to know, love, trust. They're going to brag about you. They soon become your cheerleaders of the world. And it's through the relationship. If you have broken communication in your home, what does that do? It causes divorce. It causes anxiety with your kids if you have kids. Even your pets can pick up on the relationship. Are you always screaming and yelling? Do the animals hide? Well, how are you treating those clients? Are you listening? Are you allowing them to speak? Are you picking up on the subtleties? Are you looking at how their faces and their body languages are reacting to you?
Right.
So everything should always be relationship focused. And part of the relationship, and this was something I learned early on. And we talk about networking today. Years ago, we didn't call it networking. It was just called being a good neighbor. Somebody has a need, they ask you. I found that by becoming that friend, that referral resource, and we didn't even call them referrals, it was just resources. People knew that when I would say, hey, I know somebody because you asked me, and I thoroughly endorsed them. You may not need me, but here you go. When they felt like I cared about them and they would use that referral that I gave them, they would come back and say, Shawn, thank you. I needed that.
Yes.
And we didn't call it networking. It just was my way of helping others, which was part of building that relationship. And eventually I found that while somebody was coming to me for a need that did not involve my direct business, eventually it came around full circle.
That's right.
From just being helpful.
Yes, because being of service is it's like I put that in the palm of my hand, and I wave it before every door of opportunity before I go jetting in. Because I believe when I go in with the mindset of being of service, what I personally ascribe to as being greater than myself walks before me, stands beside me, and covers the rear behind me for those things as a human I will not see coming. And that's just the way I process it. But being of service is a wonderful thing. It truly is. So tell me this. Right now, what is it that gets you out of bed every day?
What gets me out of bed every day is knowing that I'm able to use my personal experiences to help others, whether that's in their personal lives or it's in their business. I love when I have entrepreneurs come to me and they say, Shawn, I'm stuck in a rut. I haven't been able to make sales. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm losing interest in my business. I'm just tired and burnt out. Or I get the person that says, you know, I don't know what's triggering me. I can't figure it out. And then through conversation, we find out that whatever is influencing them in their business is actually a stem from their home. What's going on in the house. And it's just that just makes me happy, because then people circle back and they go, Shawn, I listened to you. Just yesterday, I was talking to a husband and wife, and they own a solar company. And I had talked to them like 2 months ago about something, and I had asked them, well, do you also do commercial solar installs? They said, no, we don't. I said, well, you know what? If you're looking at the homeowners, why not go after the businesses, those that own their buildings or have open parking where you can put the solar panels, provide shade, increase rent? You know, we were talking, you know, dollars and cents. I saw them yesterday and they said, Shawn, because of the conversation that you had in random passing, we now have opened up our market for commercial.
See? And you know, this falls into the category of what I just love this. And I wish more people would trust in it. And just because you need patience for this next piece. And that is, I refer to it as the Johnny Appleseed mindset, where you're just constantly throwing seeds out, but not sitting there waiting to see, is that going to germinate or dry? You know, I threw those seeds out there. You see those seeds? I see those things growing out there. No, you know, you have to be willing to plant seeds that you may not even be in this world one day to see germinate. Look, Martin Luther King, you know, he had a dream. He didn't get to live to see all the benefits of it, but I believe he did, because I know, just personally, my personal mindset again is, you know, we're afforded views around that corner known as the future. Sometimes I think it's tied into all the I words: instinct, intuition, everything that's internal, because the only way that something can get in there and change the course of those things is through the gift of invitation. So, you know, I want to know next, when we come back from a brief commercial break, what is it about community service that has you all over the place? Were you that way in high school, a cheerleader, student government, student council, that kind of girl, homecoming, this and that and the other? Or was this something that evolved as you evolved? We're going to find out about that and more in just a moment. Stay put. Okay, no recorded commercial, because guess what, y'all? Got another sponsor that is live right here. And here it is. The Art of Shaving. I contacted them because I use this. It is a pre-shave oil, because as I get older, those gray hairs are like turkey hairs. I'm not kidding. They come out, they're like barbed wire sometimes. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I certainly don't want a beard. And I found this and an entire plethora of shaving accessories, you could say, that really make the experience a much more pleasant experience. So go and check it out, theartofshaving.com. If you want more information, holler at your boy, and I'll give you some recommendations. Also, you know them. They're here every day. I love my V8 because it's 100% vegetable juice in this can, 60 calories, 2 servings, count them, 1, 2, vegetables. Easy to find. You don't need a magnifying glass or a hound dog. All you have to do is go to your local grocer, head down the nearest juice aisle. I guarantee you're going to find V8 in a variety of flavors and sizes. So don't beat yourself up because you did something after the fact. Make the choice ahead of time. Small changes make big shifts. Delicious. Tastes just like candy. We're back with Shawn. Hi, Shawn. Thank you for hanging around.
Thanks, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren.
Oh, you're welcome. So I want to know, first of all, because I know y'all are wondering out there. Don't get mad for me asking. I just want to know, because it looks natural. Are you a natural redhead?
Top matches the bottom, yes.
Yeah, you really are? Because I was like, she looks Irish. Are you?
Very much Irish. We come from, all the women in our family are all redheads and all natural.
I knew it, because you can tell. You can tell when I lived in Boston for a while, and I met a lot of redhead people. And they would tell me, you can tell the difference between the bottle and the DNA. So, okay, that's cool. A lot of history. And the reason I asked that question is because in the Irish families that I have known, there's a long line of things being passed forward. That, like you said, your mom, it's like that. It's really like that. So I want you to tell us, because your mom was a real estate agent, so she was all out in the community. They have to be. So how much of what she gave you do you use today? And why is all of those things, you do some pretty big community things. Talk about why they're important to you. You got 4 kids, right? 4 kids, 3 animals, a husband, and the things that are just things that you need to do for Shawn. How do you find time? And why is this so important to you?
Well, first you have to set boundaries for yourself. And what I mean by that, with my husband and I, who obviously live together, we raise kids together, we have co-parents because we are a blended family, and we have our companies together. So we are like together 24/7.
Wow.
You have to set boundaries for yourself, for you and your spouse, and even for your kids. And by that is you block out time. This is my personal time. Whatever that looks like, you have to take it. Robert and I, we have I call it our shower time. We know that when we're in the shower, we don't talk business. That is like off limits.
You mean in the shower together?
Yeah, why not?
Girl. Come on.
It is the bathrobe moments, right? So I figured we'll just take it up a notch or down a notch.
Hey, I'm with you.
But one of the things that I thrive on, again, goes back to being able to help others. And I love to volunteer. We bring our kids into volunteerism as well. We've all served at food banks. Last year we did a toy drive. We raised over 20,000 plushie toys that we donated to a variety of nonprofits. We delivered them to the sheriff's office, police departments, other emergency response departments. And it's about teaching our kids. If they're not going to naturally come by volunteering, it starts with us, the adults, the parents. And my mom, funny enough, my mom, because she was single, everything had to be business focused. It was always about making sure there was plenty of food on the table. We had nice homes, lived in decent areas. And my mom actually was a workaholic. And I wanted to go for cheerleading, but I wasn't able to. I was part of the DECA organization, which is still around today in the schools. And I remember I was at a DECA competition, and we had some fire emergency in our business, and I got pulled out of it. And so growing up, I actually was not able to do a lot of the extracurricular activities. It was school, making sure I had great grades, and working in the family business. I had a high school sweetheart, somebody who I dated all through high school and eventually married. And we're no longer together. He was my first husband of number 3.
Right.
First of
The
3
warm-up.
husbands, right?
That was the warm-up husband. Right.
Yeah, he was my warm-up husband. And I had always decided for me, I never wanted to be told I couldn't do something or there wasn't enough time. And so I've made that part of my life path, is to be able to have those moments to help others.
Wow. Tell us about your writing. Now, you're an international best-selling author. Tell us what you wrote about. And is that the 365 days thing?
So we have a book series that is The Art of Connection. We had our first book launched last year in the series. We are now currently working on the second book in the edition. This one is 365 Days of Inspirational Quotes. And we have it's a collaborative author book. So we have over 300 authors part of the book.
Wow.
And last year, when the book hit the streets, it became an international bestseller. It's the Library of Congress also approved our book to be in their library, which is a huge status for all of our authors.
Yes.
Because the Library of Congress, they get so many submissions every day, every week, every year, and a lot of them get rejected. And ours was accepted before it even went to publish.
Wow.
And it's that, for us, that was huge. One of the things that we do for all of our contributors, which is important, is we provide ongoing marketing of each and every one of them for 12 months after the book is released, because they're part of our website, which drives traffic to their website. We have promotional images. When this book was thought about, it was actually brought up because of Robert. It was his dream to have this book, Art of Connection. And he wanted a space for entrepreneurs and even others who they don't have to have businesses to be able to find a way to inspire other people. And we found now that this book, coaches and even people in the financial industry, we have so many different professionals that are finding a way to incorporate this book into their own business to help their clients, because it touches on spirituality, it touches on sales, marketing, it talks about family and home. There's stories about grandparents and what it meant to them. And so it's really become a resource book for others. And it's a time of reflection. So you can, if you're that overachiever, you can go all 365 days at once. Or you can read it day by day. It's an easy read. It's also audience interactive, which is why it's also a great book to incorporate into your business with your clients, because you can have a client read the quote, the thought, and answer a question that's in the book.
Do you have the book there?
Actually, I have them all in another room. I didn't bring one down with me today, but this is the new cover for the upcoming book.
I love it.
We still have some openings. It will be coming out in just a few weeks. It's in digital, download, and print format. So all 3.
Awesome.
And we are so excited. We have the main authors are Robert W. Jones, my wonderful, loving husband, and Aurelia Moore. And so together, they're really making this a powerful book. And so we're excited.
Let's talk about the title, because I really love that, The Art of Connection, especially because you say the stories hit on so many different slabs of the sidewalk of life, all the different ones. And do you have a favorite? Does anything come to mind in there? I feel like telling you to go run and get the book.
I know.
How far away is
so many different we have so many different authors and quotes in there, but the one I'm going to share one that I wrote. Now I can't say the full name of the quote because we're on TV and I don't want to break any guidelines, but it's called For the Love of, and I'll say duck. Okay. For the love of duck. And what that is, first, when you read the quote, For the Love of, it's a shocker. And especially everyone who knows me knows I don't use that type of language in person or out there in public.
So it's a dirty word.
It is a dirty duck word.
What are the,
And
oh, I get it. Okay, I was like, that's a weird one to pick. Duck.
I know duck, but
Okay.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
No. Oh,
So, but the thought behind that is all about catching a reaction. And that's the society that we're in. It's about catching reactions. Take Andrew Dice Clay. We all have heard about Andrew Dice Clay and how dirty his comedy shows are. And back in the day, it was like, oh, he just said that. And that was the shock factor. But now think about how many speakers speak from stage and they drop all different kinds of words just for that shock factor.
yeah.
But it's no longer a shock. It's like, now we have to resort to putting bacon as clothing on ourselves. And so the thought behind the quote is the power that we give words. And I use this because I have a lot of Southern in my family, Southern roots. And so take the saying, life is like a peach. If you love that taste of that furry, juicy peach and the way it feels on your tongue, if somebody says life's like a peach, you're going to go, oh, I love that. Reminds you of the shade tree. But if you're like me that feels that fur on the tongue and you're going, it's like nails on a chalkboard, that saying is like, ugh, it has two meanings. And that's what that whole excerpt is about, is the power that we give words. What do you want to give to that word? And the shock factor.
So important. Listen, I heard you say that there's still some time and some slots open. Mm-hmm. And I know everybody here, that all the people watching, for the most part, I've seen it just in their comments. They're great writers. They have great stories. So who might be a great fit for some of these or one of these open slots and could be sitting here right now and not even know it's for them?
Absolutely. So we have entrepreneurs, we have C-suites, we have the housemaker, the homemaker, we have engineers, we have doctors, attorneys. This book, the contributors all have diverse backgrounds. We have your speakers. We have individuals who have already published their books. They've been in other collaborative books, but they're wanting to stay relevant. And what a great way to be able to write a page in a book. It takes about 30, 45 minutes. So there's not a lot of time investment in writing it. And it's one page. And so with that, it's a great way to stay relevant. Hey, I just released.
How many slots are left? I want one.
We have about 160 slots left.
Okay, we'll make it 159.
Perfect. I love it.
I really do. I love it. And you know why? I'm gonna just keep it real. While you were talking, I had a download, and that puts. I don't even question, because when you hear the truth, you only need to hear it once, because it's not ever gonna change. Mm-hmm. So tell me if I know I'm right. I already know I'm right because of the download. I was told, Lauren, do this because a lot of the people in there get to know each other and make lifelong friends from just because they read things about it. I can tell, I can feel it. Just from the whole title, all of it. It's like there's this big labradoodle of purpose standing over everybody, just shaking, and everybody gets some of everything. I want a piece of it. I really do. Talk about some of the surprises that came from that first one that said, we gotta do. It's a no-brainer. We have to have the second book. What were some of the things that you saw develop or happen? It could be a relationship with some people that were in there. Mm-hmm. What are the top two things that pop out when you go, we never saw that coming, but we're so glad it came.
I know. One of the big things that we noticed, because this book, there are contributors from around the globe. And our community is already in 25 states and over 15 countries. But we found that they didn't really talk to each other. Like our over the ponders didn't necessarily connect with our US. It was kind of like two different, but yet they wanted to talk. They wanted to get together. And we found that with this book, we were able to bring the people together. Our book launch last year, we had over 180 people attend the book launch. That's huge for a book.
Yeah, it is.
And it was really a connection event. And we're finding now that our people that are in other countries, they're starting to integrate here with our US folks. And our US folks are now integrating with our folks that are in other countries. So now we're starting to really see that connection across the waters. People are having those conversations. They're exchanging business. You know, there's a lot of companies that can do business in other states. What we're also finding as a result, that just because somebody lives in another country, oftentimes they have friends, they have clients, they have family here in the US. So again, now that little pool is starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
See,
And
I
people
definitely
are
get that. Right.
And it's bridging the gaps.
And I would say something. You know, I was thinking about this morning, this very thing, on my way home from the health club. I was like, you know, I'm going to talk about this one of these days on the show. You know, I remember the days prior to COVID, and where a lot of people would just spend so much money buying these programs that you don't get to talk to any real person. You go, you know, and they were what I call event groupies, that they just go to event after event after event, but nothing changes in their lives. And I think, you know, now that we're on the other, well, kind of on the other side of COVID, you know, a lot of people have learned that, you know, one line a whisper can change a life. And, you know, because they saw that they were so busy stargazing that they weren't convinced that they should be trailblazing. And there's a difference. And things like this, these little bitty opportunities that seem small, like, well, one page, no big deal. Well, then do it. If it's no big deal, it's easy peasy, which it is. Why aren't you doing it? My greatest opportunities came through doorways smaller than a pinhole. They came through that hole, that thing in the screen door, instead of the whole open door. Because it's because of those things that you do just because. Those things we do when no one is watching, that I believe bring us our fondest memories and our greatest joy. How do you feel about that, Shawn?
I believe that anytime you're approached with an opportunity, be open and receptive. For every no that you give, you never know what's going to turn of it.
Right.
You know, just.
Ooh, that was a good one she was about to say. See how it froze?
I've been published before.
She's going to have to repeat that. She's breaking up, y'all. Right in the last couple minutes. We're going to find out what she's saying, because we're not letting that get out or get away from us. Okay, on my screen, I'm still there. Oh. Now she muted.
Okay, are we back?
You're back. And let me tell you, trick no good, whatever frequency trying to block that message. Go back and repeat everything you said that we didn't get to hear.
Absolutely. So what I was saying is, anytime you're presented with an opportunity, receive it with an open hand, an open mind, and an open heart. And I say that because I look at my own personal life. If I would have said no to everything that was presented, I would never be where I'm at today. I would never have fostered. I would never have done X, Y, Z. And, you know, it's always about being open, because that's how you grow. That's how you connect with others around you. It's how you build relationships. It's about being that free way of saying, okay, I'm here to receive. And there's a reason why I'm being approached with this.
And you know, when you say open, let's hit that word. Let's hit that word right here in the middle of the intersection. Get out the car, come into the crosswalk, come out here in the middle with us. Listen, when Shawn says open, you know, I've been listening to The Fifth Agreement, right? Which is the book after the Four Agreements. And they talk in there about how doubt is your best friend, because you need to be skeptical, but because caution, you err on the side of caution, but you don't need to be afraid, because, you know, and I believe that. I used to be afraid of, I don't know if I should ask that question, or, There's too many questions about that. But now I know that what is greater than me is the question mark. And if I don't see a question mark inside over the threshold of an opportunity, I go the opposite direction, because it makes me feel like, if I don't have any questions, that's a setup. It wants me to believe I already know everything about this, and I don't. So where is there to go or grow? So the question mark should be something, as soon as you see it, rush in, be a part of it. And so when you say open, I think a lot of people think that just means available, but it doesn't. It means you have to be open to sleepless nights. If I do this, you have to be open to, more joy. And like when you're out there in the public eye, and I want you to take us out with this thought, because it's not easy when you're inside of the community like you are. Sometimes you got to take the hard line. You got to say the things that people don't want to say. You got to say the things that people don't want to hear. So how do you feel? How do you not feel, but how do you handle this?
I look at it this way. If somebody doesn't agree, then they shouldn't have asked my opinion. Don't ask if you don't want to know. Don't ask if you don't want to know.
Don't ask if you don't want to know. Right. And in our family of color, they say it like this: don't write a check. Don't let your mouth write a check that your ass can't cash.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, don't right? Or as my husband would say, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. I'm kidding. He does not say that. Oh, he does to me.
You will never please everyone, Lauren. There's always going to be someone out there who's going to judge you. I remember I was at a dinner function. There was several of us at the table, and I had a man look at me and tell me, well, if you want more speaking opportunities, you need to lose weight.
And which side of his face did you slap to the other side of the room?
I just looked at him. I'm like,
there it is, up there on the wall.
And I never forgot that. And at first I was like, ooh, that kind of stung, because girl has hips, but I'm classified as an average sized woman.
Well, what'd you say to him?
I just blew it off. I was like, yeah, whatever. And I just continued along in the conversation. But here's what I did. I took that statement and I give talks about judgment.
See?
And yeah, I turned it into a positive.
Reinvent the blame.
Mm-hmm.
Reinvent the blame. You can do that just by blessing the source. Bless the source. I believe this. Like sitting here just with you, and I promise everybody, I promise with all I am, that this is the truth. Every pain, every betrayal, every one of those traumas that I ever had to live, I am so grateful for them right now. Why? Because, Shawn, they led me to you. They led me to you, and they led me to you all. And so there are no mistakes, maybe a misstep or two, but no mistakes in the planet. Shawn, is this the best way? I can't believe you put your phone number up there. I do it too, but there you go. There you go. On the screen, the website, and also the phone number for Shawn Jones. So if you'd like to, and I hope you will, continue the conversation. I, for one, am going to pursue getting inside the next book. And want to join me? Call the number. Shawn, I want to thank you so much for coming in today. I had a feeling about you, and I was right. Thank you for coming in and pouring into us. And I just love your spirit. And you have what I refer to as the revolving invitation. The turnstile means you can come anytime. You've got something you'd like to share and pour into our world. We really, really appreciate you. So thank you
so much.
You're welcome. And for all of you out there, everything you're saying about Shawn or me or anyone else that is pouring into your life, just know that one of us somewhere is saying the same thing about you. We are a family. We are a collective. This is the Great Awakening. Don't forget it. Do your part. Get out today, won't you please? And every person and every situation you encounter, do one little bitty, itty bitty thing, and that is do your best to leave whatever that is a little bit better than the way you found it. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central out on the front porch again, God willing, for our next episode. My guest tomorrow, the controversial Tim Ray, the host of Awaken Atlanta and the owner of UI Media. We're going to talk all things vaccination or not vaccination. So strap yourself down. It's going to be a bumpy but exciting ride tomorrow morning on our next episode of Bathrobe Moments. Now get out there. Be good to yourselves, but be even better to someone else. Bye. Thank you again, Shawn. Mwah.
Thanks.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see.